on this episode of Outlook TV. ZZ Theater's 10th Anniversary Gala.
Queering the Map, recording queer spaces.
Qmunity's fundraising breakfast. And much, much more. Hello and welcome to Outlook TV. I'm Rebecca Wine.
And I'm Robert Mackay, and lucky you're watching the Queer Magazine news show that brings you the stories that matter the most from coast to coast.
We're going to kick it off in Vancouver at Club XY,
where ZZ Theater was in attendance for the 10th Anniversary Gala.
Hi, we are here at XY on Butte and Davie celebrating ZZ Theater's 10th Anniversary Gala, where we're going to see lots of local queens and a little snippet of Elbow Room Cafe.
Still don't have much money, but by God I have you, honey, and you are so much fun.
So tonight is a gala celebrating the 10-year anniversary of ZZ Theater, which is a theater company founded by this gorgeous creature beside me, who I also happen to be married to. I'm very
she has
lucky.
to say that. She is actually contractually bound to say that.
So Isolde, tell us about ZZ. What's like? It's the gala for ZZ. But what does that mean?
Yeah, so I founded the company 10 years ago. Our mission is to tell diverse stories and to amplify the voices of those on the margins. We've been doing that since 2008. Some hits include My Funny Valentine, written right over here. Elbow Room Cafe, the musical, written right over here, and along with Anton Pavetsky.
Sometimes you need to walk the walk, as it were.
Well, I got involved with ZZ Theater through a friend in the arts community who told me about a couple of very creative local guys, drag queens, who also had a theater company, and they were going to do a musical about the Elbow Room Cafe, which is an institution in Vancouver that a lot of people know about, famous for its breakfast and its sass from the servers, and I thought that was a fantastic idea and I wanted to get behind it.
A current board member actually is how I got involved with ZZ. I used to work with a past president, and he asked if I was interested, and I said absolutely. I'm an accountant and they needed someone with finance experience, so I fit the bill.
I'm going to help out a little bit my two dear friends, Peach Cobb and Isolde and Barron, who of course are the heart and soul of ZZ Theater, asked me to come down and help out. I'm going to help sell some raffle tickets for some amazing prizes. Walk around the room, say hi to people, do a little performance possibly, and bring some joy to the room.
So ZZ Goes Global was an initiative that started this season and will continue for the next few seasons, which is about building the artistic relationship between Canada, and Vancouver specifically, and South Africa. And so just last week, we actually were able to fly one of those playwrights into Vancouver to read one of her plays as the beginning of this sort of amazing relationship.
DMS chooses a group of charities to raise money for. So this year, the four charities are Rainbow Refugee, Health Initiative for Men, BC Cancer Society, and ZZ Theater. I'm very fortunate to work so closely with ZZ Theater. They're an amazing theater community.
Well, that has been so much fun. I am Michael Sousa for Outlook TV.
Whistler's own Dean Nelson headed to Toronto for an award.
It was bestowed upon him by the International Gay and Lesbian Travel Association for his amazing work as the first founder of Pride House in the Olympics.
Vancouver 2010 Olympics was the first place we had a Pride House. And the founder of that Pride House was none other than Whistler's own Dean Nelson. We've got Dean here today to tell us all about it and what he's been up to since.
I was very honored this year at the 35th anniversary of the IGLTA to receive the Pioneer Award. So the International Gay Lesbian Travel Association has given me this award for the work that I've done with Pride House and with tourism, creating different opportunities like Mr. Gay World, Mr. Gay Canada, Whistler Pride, the International Gay Lesbian Travel Association that promotes LGBT tourism around the world and brings travel partners together to advocate for safer travel environments for people to travel and have fun and experience beautiful destinations like Vancouver.
Can you tell us a little bit about what Pride House is all about?
Pride House is a pavilion that was created at the 2010 Olympics to create a safe space for LGBT athletes, fans, and family to come together and celebrate the Olympic magic and give us a venue to actually talk about homophobia and transphobia within sport and advocate for change to make our sporting environment safer for our athletes moving forward. We've had quite a few different Olympians and high-performance athletes come out to the Pride Houses. In 2010, we had Blake Skellerup. He was short track speed skater for New Zealand. He took Pride House as an opportunity to come out, so that was quite inspirational, where he saw what we were doing and he took it as an opportunity to actually talk about his sexuality and his struggles being closeted in sport. This year in Pyeongchang at the 2010 Olympic Games, got to meet Eric Radke. He's the first Winter Olympian to win gold that's openly gay, so that was really, really amazing, and he's on Team Canada. Of course, Adam Rippon and Gus Kenworthy came by Pride House, and they were just incredibly visible this year at the 2018 Winter Olympics.
What can our viewers do to help encourage more Pride Houses?
Our biggest opportunities with Pride Houses for a private viewer out there is to help fund us. Funding for Pride House has always been a real struggle for us. It's kind of an unusual property. And this year in Pyeongchang, we got a goalie stick from Ben Scrivens from men's hockey. He donated it to us, so we created an auction prize.
Can you tell us where the next Pride House is going to end up?
We're really excited to be working with our friends in Tokyo because we'll be hosting another Pride House at the Tokyo 2020 Olympic Summer Games, which is very exciting. We do have some other Olympic houses coming up and in development.
This has been John Crossan with Outlook TV, wishing all the best to Dean Nelson in his future endeavors.
We're going to have to take a little break now.
Time to take out the trash. Get moving.
Welcome back. You're watching Outlook TV.
In this next story, we have queering the map. How do you queer a map?
Well, you put places on the map that, like, your first kiss was on that bench in that place and things like that. So we're just taking over the map. So we head to Montreal for this interview.
Queer spaces are everywhere, and we talked via Skype with Lucas La Rochelle, the designer behind the online interactive project Queering the Map. Lucas, welcome. And can you tell us what Queering the Map is?
Queering the Map is a community-generated mapping project that locates queer moments, memories, and histories in relation to physical space. And it is essentially a map that people can add points to using text form as an act of queering space and creating a collective history of queer experience wherever those queer experiences occur. And so thinking about what role digital technologies play in the preservation and the continuation of queer memory and queer history.
What inspired you to create this project?
The project starts in relationship to this tree in Montreal that I would bike by quite frequently, and it was the tree that I met my first long-term partner. And at that same tree, we had a series of conversations surrounding queerness, and so that tree really held a lot of queer importance to me, queer memory, queer feeling, despite not being an obviously queer space. And so then I was interested in what other spaces hold that kind of feeling for queer people.
How could our audience participate?
So you would go to www.queeringthemap.com and you find the location of your queer moment, memory, or history, whether that be in the past or in the future. And you click that point on the map, and then you add a text recollection of that experience. And then you submit it, and it goes through a moderation process to ensure that there's no hate, spam, or unsafe content that is posted to the map. And then it will be preserved in our collective history on Queering the Map.
What can a queer space be?
Anything from a park bench to an after party to a cafe to a street to a queer space in the past.
Since our internet security is an issue, do you collect information?
Queering the Map isn't interested in collecting people's data, so no user profiles were ever created. I was really interested in what a social media or history project could look like that is more engaged in the collective than the individual.
Before we participate, can we check out queer spaces on the site?
Participation is everything, but if you're not interested in participating, it's quite an emotional experience on both sides of the spectrum to read through what has been posted.
Thank you, Lucas. This is Stephen O'Moore with Outlook TV.
If you're in Toronto or heading there for the Inside Out Film Festival, you're going to want to watch this.
Brandon covered what's the Twitter in Toronto for this film festival.
It's a lot of tease.
Yeah, more than I could handle.
Hi, this is Donorama here at the Inside Out headquarters, which is Toronto's annual LGBT film festival. Let's go inside and speak to some of the organizer and find out what is going on. Inside Out has been rolling for over 2 decades. Can you tell us a little bit about your organization's mission in featuring queer filmmakers? Andrea?
Absolutely. So Inside Out presents the largest festival of LGBT film and filmmakers in Canada, which is amazing, every spring in Toronto. And we really want to make Inside Out the home for LGBT filmmakers from all around the world.
Can you tell us a little bit about your roles in the festival?
So as executive director, I really work with the whole team to drive all of the exciting work that we do, not just at the festival, but year round. So to present films to our audiences in Toronto and across Canada, and also to start initiatives that create more opportunities for filmmakers.
That's pretty good. Andrew?
As director of programming, I guess my big thing is to create the content and assemble and curate the content for the festival, and as well as year-round initiatives. So we're working together with our programming team to make sure we have the best and most representative program that we can be proud of and present to everyone and create opportunities for, again, emerging filmmakers and people at various levels of capabilities and abilities to make sure that everyone can attend and experience what we do as a community.
They have starring roles. How do you feel the Toronto Festival has evolved over the years?
It's a great question. I mean, it's definitely bigger than ever in terms of the amount of films that we have, the amount of guests that we welcome from around the world. But I think the heart and the spirit of the festival, has always been about really celebrating the community that we have in Toronto and then growing that community by bringing these international guests in to share their work with us.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think I came in 2012, and even then, the festival was growing, and now we're at this, as we approach our 30th anniversary in 2020, it's incredible to look back and hear the stories of, the early days of presenting films in a basement out of necessity for a safe space, and, our icons like John Grayson and people within our community here locally and abroad gathering to present their work, and now looking at where we're at now and offering these abilities and opportunities for people from all around the world to come and celebrate with us here in Toronto is pretty special.
Where can somebody find out more about Inside Out, and where can we get tickets?
Well, you should check us out online. Our website is insideout.ca, and also on all your social media channels, hashtag InsideOut18. So check us out. We've got ticketing links. We've got great, beautiful write-ups of all the films, so you can make your whole plan and see everything at the festival.
Thank you. These are your wonderful folks at Inside Out, everybody. I am totally excited for the Inside Out Festival, which starts May 24th to June the 3rd. Oh my God, guys. I only have a few days to pick out what I'll be wearing on the rainbow carpet. I hope to see you there looking fashionable and fabulous.
The Queer Arts Festival has a new home in Chinatown, Vancouver at the Some Gallery.
And artist Karen Lee pays homage with Chinglish, an interesting exhibition. Let's check it out.
We're at the newly opened office space of the Queer Arts Festival and Gallery to meet with the executive director and the guest artist of the Some Gallery.
We have opened Some Gallery, which is the only dedicated queer visual art and presentation space in Canada. So Some means heart. Dim sum means little piece of heart. And what we also found out was that that character for Some, for heart, is in the words pertaining to queer.
This was an opportunity to put together really the inaugural exhibition for the Some Gallery, and which is this new project initiative of the Queer Arts Festival. The discussion really centered very much that it should speak of this place and this time and this context, which is this new space, this new queer space in historic Chinatown. And that led us to, very quickly, to the idea of presenting the work of Karen Lee.
我妹妹也曾经说过我要有孩子，我一定要有一个孩子。
I have 3 works. One is called My Sweet Peony, and it is a remix of a 16mm film I shot in 1994 in the Dr. Sun Yat-sen's gardens. And that film talks about identity, your cultural identity, gender, sexuality, and it's in the context of what it means to be Chinese Canadian. And the other piece that I'm really proud of is called Small Pleasures, and it's a film based in Barkerville, British Columbia. So my great-grandfather settled in Barkerville, and at that time, my great-grandfather and my great-grandmother, as well as my grandmother, learned Chinook jargon. And because they learned Chinook jargon, it got passed on through the generations to myself. So the third piece is a portrait of a girl, and it's the story of a caged dancer in Beijing, and she wanted to be free in her sexuality, but it wasn't really possible for her to do that because, of course, in China, it's not the official policy to be gay or lesbian.
So the Queer Arts Festival opens this year on June 16th, and one of our big highlights is Camera Obscura, a reimagining of Paul Wong's early years. We have Jeremy Dutcher is singing with his ancestors. So he's found 150-year-old wax cylinders of his ancestors.
From the Some Gallery, this is Gary Wolfader for Outlook TV.
We're going to have to take another little break now. This is the second one, Rebecca. I know. 2. That's how many we get. 2.
Good thing we're in a union.
There's not. Welcome back. You're watching Outlook TV.
In this next story, Loud is showing great generosity to the future leaders of the queer community.
They're awarding scholarships.
Hi, we're here at the 9th Annual Loud Business Scholarship Awards, encouraging leadership in our LGBT community. Let's go on in there and cheer them on.
Loud stands for leadership, opportunity, unity, and diversity. That branding took hold, and in 2009 we granted our first scholarships.
Education is very expensive. I too went through university, and I know how expensive it was at that time, and it's only gotten more expensive. So it just makes a big difference for them to be able to go to university and better themselves, and then make a difference to the community in the future.
In the past, I have done a good amount of work in the community, and when I applied for the scholarship, I was looking for support in terms of paying for hearing aids that I needed. And so I was actually one of Gina Best's scholarship recipients.
Kind of growing up and going through my transition in the process of coming out, I was sure that I'd be loved, but I was never sure that I'd be celebrated for being who I am. And I guess that's what I'm doing here tonight, is just being celebrated for who I am. Well, next year I'm going to Dalhousie University to study costume studies for theater, basically. So I guess I'm going to put this towards my tuition so I don't have to take out student loans.
I've been involved with Vancouver Pride for a long time. I was the vice president for about 5 years or so, and I'm also involved with Interpride, which is the international body of pride organizers, and so I'm a vice president on their board and have been for the last 5 years as well.
Specifically, in the future, I want to use my position as a physician to help guide LGBTQ+ youth to discover and disclose their sexual orientation and gender identity.
This scholarship, I plan to continue to both
continue my work theoretically, and I'm happy to announce I will be starting my PhD in the fall in kinesiology.
When I was 11 years old, I took 2 buses to a library that was 3 towns over to ask a librarian there if they had any stories about girls who wanted to be boys. And they gave me The Woman Who Rides Like a Man, which is a book by Tamora Pierce. Yes, she's amazing.
I challenge everyone to listen to people's stories with an open mind.
This has been John Crossan with Outlook TV at the 9th Annual Loud Scholarship Awards. Congratulations to all the lucky winners, and see you next year.
Now it is time for a fancy breakfast in Vancouver.
Ooh, mimosas will be in attendance for this community fundraiser.
We're at Qmunity's IDAHOT breakfast, raising awareness for the International Day Against Homophobia, Transphobia, and Biphobia. Let's find out what's happening.
On behalf of Gregor Robertson, Mayor of the City of Vancouver, do hereby proclaim Wednesday, May 17, 2018, as International Day Against Homophobia, Transphobia, and Biphobia in the City of Vancouver.
Celebrating today is important because even though we have all these liberties, there's still folks out there that want to trump that liberty, that wants to say that, no, you don't have a voice, that wants to say, no, you're still irregular. You shouldn't be who you are. There's no way to express yourself like that, and you shouldn't be expressing yourself like that. We're here celebrating, saying, no, we are who we are. This is our truth, and we're living that truth. And that's why it's important. I'm here to ensure that the diverse voices are being out there in the community, are being represented. And I think that's just what we really need here in Vancouver.
My GP told me, you have a large, complex mass in your abdomen. I've got you an appointment with a gynecological surgeon in 9 days.
Not only do we have a lot of narratives about what it is that queer and trans and two-spirit people experience in settings of care, but we're also interviewing care providers and also sharing our research with provincial cancer care organizations where all of these care providers work.
And to reject outdated roles and values, to reject binaries, and to reject that narrative that queerness is synonymous with pain. It's not.
Education and training in particular, we've had opportunities to go across British Columbia, so we've done workshops and training opportunities in the Okanagan, interior, lots of places along the coast and the islands. Just a couple weeks ago I was up in Dawson Creek, we've been in Prince George, so we know that there's a lot of curiosity from service providers and Work BC and educators in school districts from across the province, because I don't think people need to come to Vancouver, LGBTQ2+ people, to feel a sense of safety and security. They should be able to access that whether they're living in Williams Lake or down here in Vancouver or somewhere on an island.
I think it's just really important to support Qmunity because they do a lot of good work.
That was a great breakfast full of wonderful and inspiring speeches. This is Sister Fancy Pants at the IDAHOT Community Celebration in Vancouver, BC.
That is all the time we have for this episode of Outlook TV, but you know we'll be back really soon.
That's right, and if you've got a dial-up modem, you can dial up the internet to connect with us on all the social media channels that all the kids are using.
Oh, those kids.
Those kids.
Thanks so much for joining us. I'm Rebecca Wyman.
And I'm Robert Mackay.
Stay fabulous, Canada.